we here?
I haven't seen low internet connection
Oh,
yet,
right.
so I think we're okay.
I know we're a little bit later than usual, but we were having low internet issues. Those are never fun. We definitely apologize. We're here now. We're ready to rock. I am, for those tuning in or who haven't met me yet, I am Heather Marzigliano from Grace on Broadway.
We're good. Dixie Belle says hi.
We're good.
We're good.
Hi, Dixie Belle. Hey, Kelsey. So I'm Heather Marzigliano. I own Grace on Broadway. It's in the northeast side of Pennsylvania, between like Easton and Stroudsburg and the Poconos and all that area. We're right there, in New Jersey. And this weekend we're having our New Jersey conference, and we're super pumped about that. So we're getting everything packed, we're getting everything ready, and we have this cabinet that has we did the inside first and then the outside. I know it sounds backwards, but I wanted to be able to show you guys the process. So we started inside out first, because outside is always way more fun, and we just thought it'd be more time efficient. But I wanted to show you guys our cool new toys for doing shelves and cabinets. I wanted to give you guys some pointers on doing black paint and some quick pointers on going like how to paint all the way across without too many streaks, and hopefully we can get started on this side. If we don't get to this side, we will most likely do it next week. Next week will be the first day I'm back from New Jersey, so I might have some extra bags under my eyes and I might be super excited and tell you guys all the fun stories about it. But this is kind of our project for the next week or so. We want this to end up being, it's a custom piece, so my customers picked it out. It's going to be more solid black up here, and then we're going to fade down to mostly distressed farmhouse on the bottom. If you want to look at like I would show you the, maybe I'll print it. I'll try to remember to print it, her inspiration picture. But basically, if you go to Pottery Barn, they have a lot of black furniture out right now, and so does Restoration Hardware. That is that look, where it's more solid and then kind of goes down to more farmhouse at the bottom. If you are obsessed with home decor and home furniture company catalogs like I am, you have already seen these kind of pieces. That's what we're doing. I don't know why I keep saying so much. I am in the middle of packing and not sleeping and planning, so I apologize if every now and then my brain kind of pauses. So we're gonna get started. Margaret's on the other side of the camera as usual, ready for your questions. I'm ready for your answers. So what do we have here? These are shelves that we have already done, and they're drying. And this cool contraption is a travel drying rack. So this is amazing because it comes right apart with two, there's just like two metal bars right there at the bottom and right here. You just undo 4 nuts like that. You just kind of twirl those off, and then this folds up completely flat. So you can bring this anywhere you're working. It doesn't have to stay because it's this big. It lays perfectly flat right in your trunk. You get where you're going, 4 quick screws, and you have a dry rack ready for business. These are shelves. You can do cabinet doors. You can put, if you got like a cookie sheet, you can use it for your hardware, lay that across here. So there's a lot of stuff that this can do to help you dry, just like when you're baking and you have, you know, cooling racks and stuff for your cookies. Same concept, except this way your stuff's not all over the floor, you're not tripping on it, you're painting it, boop, there it goes to dry. If you're doing workshops and classes and people are working on bigger boards, and you just bring this with you, you can pop all their work right here while their signs dry. Okay, so that's kind of what we got going on over there. So they're dry already. That's how we left them the other day, but we're just going to pretend that we kind of like went through and plopped it over. This is my twirly tray. well, a spray twirly. But I call it my twirly tray because I don't have a sprayer yet, so I hand paint.
And it's just twirling right now.
And it's just twirling. We're twirling. It's amazing. It goes, look. So I don't have to be on the floor. I don't have to paint my floor. It's mostly waist level. I'm pretty tall, so it's just about my waist. But it's still more comfortable than crawling on the floor to paint. So we're on here. These are magnetic. They're super magnetic, and basically you kind of just walk them into where you need them to hold your piece. And there's one on all three sides, and then they hold your work. You still don't want to like put your wrist here because it's still going to do that. But other than that, it's pretty secure. You can turn it and move it and you're good. So we've been working with Caviar by Dixie Belle. There it is. Yay. And this is my Dixie Belle Mini. We have already cleaned it. I have already sanded it, and I kind of scuffed up over there a little bit just to make sure I got that out. I usually have my table backwards right now. And when we're doing long pieces, we're going to start at the top, and then we're going to pull long. You don't need a lot of paint. We're just going to start here and pull straight. I try to stay the same way. I try not to do a lot of all this and that, because I feel like it keeps all the nice paint fibers and such right where they need to be. All laying the same direction. All nice and happy. So I always kind of come back to the beginning and pull my line all the way down. Now, if I had to answer the phone or go to the bathroom, or there's just a couple spots I want to get the paint all the way into, and it wasn't going all the way in, I would finish this line first. Ideally, I would try to finish the whole front so that I don't have to worry about these lines and that they'll blend in nice. But at the very least, I always try to finish the line that I'm on.
Where did you purchase the swirly tray? What company does that come from?
Paint Line, and they're a sponsor of our conference, which is going on this weekend. And I have a link on my page, Grace on Broadway, and I'll put that up when we're done. But they're super fun. And we're going to have them at the conference, and they're a great companion to Dixie Belle products. At least I think so. You can use them for all sorts of stuff. Now, if we were using our spray gun, we wouldn't be touching this at all. It would just be twirling. But I'm putting pressure on the board by hand painting, which is why I just have like a very light, basically like my finger on it, just as like an easy stabilizer. But again, that's just because I'm hand painting and I'm clumsy, and if I can mess something up, I will. But see, look at that, bang. So instead of climbing over the paint, shoo, here we go, right on the side I need to be on. So sometimes, or all the time really, to be honest with you, see I had a weird little knot there, and I just want it all painted. I find that the better my overall tools are, the easier my life is. Right, and I already have Dixie Belle, which is the best paint on planet Earth, for sure. Easy peasy. Love it. Been using it since 2014. So now, it's time for me to find all the really easy peasy tools to go with it. Pam has this really cool hydraulic lift. I think I'm seeing that on my Christmas present list. She was saying in one of her last videos that she can lift it up to her like trunk and then slide. Margaret just gave me the most like aggravated look.
No, I was like, stop it. Where is this? Yes. Why don't we have this in our lives? I was like imagining lifting things and how easy that would be.
It holds like 1,100 pounds and you can slide your furniture on it and then lower it and then just cart it wherever it goes. So I think that's my next piece of like amazing paint equipment. But I know a lot of you guys often ask kind of, what do we do that makes our life easier? What tools do we have? And that kind of stuff. So that's why I just figured today, while all this stuff was out, getting ready for the weekend, I will kind of show you some of my tricks. So this now has its first coat. As you can see, we went from start to finish. So there's no lines that kind of end here or start there. It's all continual. It is a first coat, but it covers pretty good even for a first coat. So now what we can do is get around all of our edges. And this is where life comes really handy with this thing, because I know some of you girls were like me. For sure.
Zoom broadcast paused. We had a pause. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened.
Are we there?
We're here. Something, it was like the phone just shut down and restarted.
Okay, so weird. We're having a little bit of weather. And we had some internet stuff. Stuff happens. Sorry, guys.
Yep, you're back. Dixie Belle says you're back. Thank goodness.
Okay.
We didn't mean to leave.
No, I would never just leave. I at least say goodbye. So see how nice this is? So now we can kind of go this way. And what I was saying is, for all of you guys that have been here before and have seen my carpets and have seen me paint on a table or on the carpet, this is kind of the hardest part when you're hand painting cabinets or shelving, because I would normally be on a floor and then you're painting your carpet or your drop cloth and you're not really getting,
and you're getting fuzzies from the floor on your brush.
It's not good times, right? So this way, there's also these arms that extend way out, so it doesn't need to be tiny. But, so, since Pam showed you guys her cool hydraulic lift, I felt left out. I wanted to show you guys my cool trick too. I have cool toys too. No. But look at this coverage of the Dixie Belle paint. This is all just one coat of caviar. One coat. And barely any of it, for the record. I mean, every time I kind of go in and get more paint, it's not much. For all of you guys who know about the conference and are excited for it, we still have some tickets available. If you want to come, definitely check us out. We're going to be there. It's going to be tons of fun. We're going to be learning tons of new things. Wah! I told you guys I was clumsy. All right, once I get the first coat on, we'll move to this side. I just, like I said earlier, don't want to stop in a weird spot, because then when we start our second coat, we're starting our second coat in a weird spot, and that's just not ideal. Move that out of my way. I'm just going to pick that up.
And again, where does the swirly tray come from?
It's a company
One more
called
time. Paint Line. Okay.
And I can put a link on Grace on Broadway for you guys when we're done. They are a sponsor of our conference. But it's also just a really cool, helpful product. So this is drying. Those those are my cool tricks. Let's start getting our paint on here. Now, what we've done before this today is this whole thing has been already cleaned with White Lightning, which is Dixie Belle's granule cleaner. We mix it into a bucket and wash our items with a sponge, and we'll rinse it out real good with a sponge, dunk it, get the water all like dirty, keep going till it's relatively clean, so we think. Then we get a clear water bucket with a brandy new rag, not that dirty nasty rag, and then we just wipe everything down with clear water to just make sure that we got all of the stuff, all of the cleaner, nothing's on here, so we have good adhesion. So since I have a feeling we're only going to be able to kind of get this portion done today, and sticking with what I taught you there about kind of staying in like reasonable sections for what you have time for, I'm not going to paint here. I'm going to go from here down because I want this to all be consistent. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you guys, what my thought process is. There's a lot going on here, so I'm going to paint each section as a section and try to stay as much with the grain of the section as I can. I don't know that you have to be as OCD as I sometimes am, but this is how I do it. I'm just getting in there because we really want it in there, and then I'll fix my line. So we'll get whatever we need and come back over. I'm going to wipe that smudge off so it doesn't mess me up later. And then I'm actually going to work straight down now that that's there. I want to get that before it dries. I know single colors aren't the most exciting, but this is going to be cool when we're done with it, I promise.
Kelly would like to know, did you sand anything first?
Nope. This piece has plenty of like grit and adhesion, and it's not slick. There's no reason for slick stick or sanding. All we did was clean it really good with White Lightning and a water rinse. And then we can paint. Dixie Belle is super easy peasy. You just clean, paint, and kind of do it whichever style you want to paint in. Sorry, Margaret, it's like such a weird angle. Poor Margaret's like hovering over a child's table to get this angle for you guys. Because this piece is so big, we couldn't put it like
it's
where it makes sense. And I was kind of like, hey, you know, it'd be so fun. Let's start this humongous piece in the corner of our paint area. And you can do gymnastics moves to show everyone what the heck I'm doing. Okay, so here you can kind of see where I've started and stopped along the way, and we don't want that to stay there. But it's long, so it was kind of necessary because I couldn't just continuously do, was that squats? I mean, it'd be amazing if I could,
yeah,
but
squats.
I'm not like that, so.
I'm not like that, you said.
We're just gonna pull it down. I'm not squatty. And we're just gonna even our line all the way out. So if it's longer than what you can do in one, paint stroke, just do what you need to do, and then always go back to your beginning and just kind of clean up that line.
Let me come around, and if you end up like with a giant head on the camera, I'm sorry, guys. Here, this is better.
Is it better?
It is. It is.
All right.
I mean, if you turn around and you talk to the camera, it's
I'm, like,
literally
right
going to be
there.
like a gigantic head coming at them. But
Maybe like a bobblehead?
yeah, but it'll be all right. So like I can open the door a little bit and get back.
So, what we're going to do, and the other reason I'm trying to make my first coat like a good with lines and stuff like that is because starting about here, my first coat is going to be all I keep. So typically I go over my first coat with a second coat, and sometimes my first coat doesn't matter as much. But since this time, this way, we're not going to do multiple coats down here, we want to make sure they're as clean as we can get them. So the plan is to basically what we're going to do is we're going to end up doing 2 coats up there, but our second coat, we're going to kind of fade that second coat to where it stops about here-ish. So then when we sand it all, up there ends up less distressed than down here. If that, hopefully that plan makes sense. I haven't had near enough coffee today, so just hoping we're all on the same page. I don't know that we're going to be able to kind of get to all that today, but we can at least get started. Next week might have to be the second coat and the detailed distressing. The reason I started here and not up here for this part is because when I went over here, I got some on here, and I'm just trying to keep my lines clean as I go. So that's the only reason I didn't pop back up there, in case that was a question or almost a question. On black furniture that's not tabletops or bathrooms or kitchens or stuff that has like a ton of water, what you'll also see is that I use black wax on black paint, and I use white wax on white paint if I want it to stay super white. But using black wax on black paint has been like the most helpful trick ever for me to figure out to keep my blacks really black and help, believe it or not, even tone it a tiny bit more. There we go. Thanks for cooperating, paint. So see, I'm still going back over from top to bottom, start to finish. If I see something here, I'll go start to finish there, just hitting all my touch-ups. Here, there's a couple spots that didn't take paint, but now thinking about our complete plan, those don't matter as much as they would if they were up there. Because right around here, remember, is where we want to see it start really pulling through some of the wood color. This is when I start climbing around on the floor. We're getting to that weird bottom. So sometimes when you paint stuff, you kind of don't know what direction you're going to go in, and that's super fun. So you can just start painting, and wherever your creativity takes you, it takes you. But if you have a certain color or style in mind or an inspiration, you do want to keep that in the back of your head as you're painting for sure, because it might really help make sense to what you're doing or not doing as you're painting. I want this to come back off. So look, even here, Margaret, you can show them. I didn't kind of even finish that off. I didn't finish that off. I let that stay. I let that kind of corner stay. Like, that stuff I wouldn't do if this was going to be a completely opaque, finished black, right? Like, if we were doing 2 coats, I totally would have fixed that. But again, because that's going to be very distressed and farmhousey, I'm not going to put extra paint or extra effort into it, because then I'm just adding more work, right? Because the whole point is that it's going to come off. So why put it there to begin with? So now, if, say, you guys had questions, or the phone rang, or if I needed my coffee, or I had to go to the bathroom, like, this would be a perfect time to pause. Because every single thing has its place. There's no weird lines. I could get up, I could leave this till tomorrow, and nothing weird is going to happen. I also try to be mindful of that when I'm painting, and say, like, okay, let me do this section. I have 5 minutes, I have a half an hour, I have an hour, or while I'm working. If I'm getting hungry, I'll kind of assess the situation and see what I can fit in before I go to get my food, and I say, you know what, let me finish this panel, I'll be at a good spot. So even though there's like a whole ton of creativity and freedom and kind of do what you want, in the back of your head, there's still that critical thinking, and there's still that element of kind of planning what you're doing a little bit. I think that's all, like, the instructional knowledge I have for you guys today. The rest is just going to be me basically painting black. So that's why I tried to give you guys as much helpful tips while painting black as I could. Next week, what we're going to do is, there's that word again today. Goodness sakes. So next week, we're going to finish up that top. This I'll have painted today. So we'll do the second coat. I'll get some sanding stuff out. We'll go over distressing, and hopefully we'll get this door looking like I want it to. And I'm going to put in, like, real college effort into getting the a picture of the inspiration for you guys. So actually, you know what I can do? I will screenshot the inspiration. I will add the spray twirly link and the colors that we're using, and I will put it on my page so that you guys know what the plan is, you know how we're going to get it, and then I will meet you here next week at 9 with a super solid plan that I'm pretty excited we got really under control. The inside's already done, the shelving is basically done, we just have to second coat it, flip it, sand it, and seal it. Oh, well, it felt almost done.
The inside's almost completely sanded.
Yes, the inside.
Yeah.
The inside's
we're like 3/4, well, a quarter of the way there.
It's okay. It's not due till next week,
yeah.
So it's fine. It's going to be awesome. We have a super fun plan. Does anyone have any questions while you guys have me? I'm going to be around a whole bunch. We're going to be posting pictures, posting videos, and doing all that fun stuff from the conference from Friday to Monday. The conference itself is on Sunday, but we have a ton of people coming in over the whole weekend, and we're going to be sharing all of it with you guys, kind of all over the place. So you know where to find me. I'm Grace on Broadway, and I'm Heather. Thank you for being here with me this Tuesday, and I'll see you next week.